Hi, this is Quinlan, and today we're doing something completely different than usual. Instead of going out to the mountains, we are going to taste and compare some of the major brands of Japanese beer. And that's too long and boring. Hi, this is Quinlan, and today we are going to be taste testing Japanese beer. We've got, I think, like 6-ish different kinds of beer. I'm here with my friend Pat, and the two of us are going to blind taste test them and rate them. Should be fun.
Six-ish?
Do you remember how many was it?
We just went shopping.
My brain's a sieve. It was six. It was six, right? Because we got the 4 major brands.
Are we
plus
counting the Budweiser?
That's not beer. That doesn't count.
We have 5 major brands.
Plus the Budweiser. So 6
and the
cans.
Notogoshi.
And the 7. Anyways, let's get to it.
But 6-ish? I don't.
But 7 is 6-ish, isn't it? It is 7 is 6-ish. It's
yeah,
fair.
but you ish when you're dealing with numbers in the hundreds.
7 beers.
That's embarrassing.
All right.
Is embarrassing. Hi, this is Quinlan, and today, instead of going into the mountains, we're going to be trying some Japanese beer. We've bought somewhere in the vicinity of 6.
Okay, that was great. I don't think I can top that. Beer number 1, the mystery beer. All right, here we go. This is definitely a real beer. It's not one of the awful ones. And it's got a nice, refreshing sort of tingle at the beginning. This is familiar. This is beer I've had tons of times before. Of course, I've had all of those beers tons of times before, but I don't even know. But I'm going to guess this one is Kirin Ichiban Shibori. I don't have confidence about which is which, to be honest. I've been drinking craft beer recently. Meh. And but I'm going to say I like this one. This is good. It's refreshing. It's easy to drink. It's Pilsner, which almost all of them are. Yeah, I like it. My rating is great on a hot barbecue day. Overall, solid.
Beer number 1. The color is a little bit, not quite repulsive, but it's not a crayon I'd use. Getting hints of bath water. It's kind of like drinking out of a puddle with a straw on a hot day after a rainstorm. It's about 30 seconds of my life I'd like back. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna have to give this one 2.5.
Beer number 2. Yeah, describing the color, I'm not gonna bother. They're all kind of yellow. This one has a sort of smooth, foamy thing that hits your tongue when you first start drinking it. And it's got, really fine bubbles. Japan likes to make a big deal about having fine bubbles. And they've even got certain types of, I think, Asahi. They market with whole posters saying, oh, there's all these tiny little bubbles. And I don't really get it, to be totally honest, but I can see this has tiny little bubbles. But I don't think it's Asahi yet. I'm gonna guess this one is the Kirin, and it's good, it's fine. It's, to be honest, it's kind of nondescript. I don't get anything after the initial sip, but it comes in smooth and then kind of just disappears. And yeah, it's good, it's fine. I'm okay with it. It's a normal Pilsner, goes well with food.
Beer number 2. We're getting a little bit more golden with the color, which is nice. I don't like small bubbles. They don't seem very confident in themselves as bubbles. I'm getting hints of beer. There's a little bit more there. There is. And the bubbles kind of left a face on my glass. It kind of looks like a caterpillar, if you look closely. Yeah, on a scale of 0 to 5, I'm gonna give this one a 2.5.
Okay, we've reached beer number 3. Here we go. Oh, this one's got more of a fizziness going on top. Kind of sweet in a way. Really lacks flavor. It's hard to judge with a little amount, but I'm going to guess this is the Budweiser. It's kind of got a little bit of a cloying sweetness to it. It's not as crisp or refreshing as the others. I'd prefer to avoid it, but to be honest, if I'd already had 2 or 3 beers and I was like eating and talking and not like savoring, it'd be fine, I guess, but meh. So yes, I give the third one, meh.
Beer number 3. Better taste than the first 2. I'm enjoying this one more. How can I describe this so you would understand? So there's like a better taste in the mouth. The last ones were bad, and this one's better. I've never been able to understand how you can drink something and say there's like hints of honey and tobacco and tree bark. I don't have a good palate for that. For this, I'm getting hints of alcohol again, but good hints of alcohol. I haven't really been guessing. I guess I should start guessing which beer I think it is. I guess it's just going to be a shot in the dark. I guess I'm going to go with the Kirin, which you might know means giraffe in Japanese. If you look on the can, there's a picture of a real giraffe. It looks a little different than the normal African or Brooklyn giraffe that you might see. You know, giraffes only have like 7 bones in their neck. All that neck, and it's really only like 7 bones. Not bad experience overall. On a scale of 0 to 3, I'm gonna give this one a 2.5.
This is beer number 4. Yeah, this one has really got a chemical taste to it. It's a little bit sweet and chemically. I'm gonna guess this one isn't beer at all, but this is the Notogoshi miscellaneous alcohol that falls into a much cheaper tax bracket, so it can be sold much more cheaply. A little bit of beer history in Japan. They have 3 main brackets for beer. There's beer, which gets taxed at the highest. Then something called happōshū, which I guess you would say fermented alcohol. And that's cheaper than beer and often tastes lighter. And then the lowest tier of the quasi beers is sonota, no something or other, but basically miscellaneous alcohol. And I'm guessing that's what this is. To be honest, it's not that, well, no, it is. It's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. If you're a fan of beer, this is pretty bad. But if you are on a hot summer day, you're outside, you've already had a couple of real beers, so your tongue is kind of numb anyways, yeah, you could do it. You save some money, I guess, if you drink it, but by choice, I would never buy this. I'd rather have less good beer than more of whatever you call this, because it's not beer. I give this one meh minus.
Beer number 4. We got a really unique color this time. This is much different than the first 3. The first 3 had more of like a pussy yellow going on. This one's got more of a pussy brown yellow going on. Yeah, there's that little bit of sweetness there. There is a little bit of sweetness there, which is good sometimes. Not so much right now. Just because I feel like I should guess, I'm going to guess that this is the Asahi, which means morning sun, which I don't know what kind of message Asahi is trying to send to the drinkers of Japan. It's just something to think about. So on a scale of 0 to, let's say, 15, I'm going to give this one a 2.5.
Here we have beer number 5. What a relief. We're back to real beer, at least. This is a rather bitter one. I'm going to say this is the Ebis. I'm guessing that's what this is because it's got a strong front-end bitterness to it, which is one of the trademarks of Ebis. I could be wrong, though. Given that this is number 5, I'm starting to lose confidence in my tongue just a little bit. But I think this is the Ebis. Personally, I prefer to drink some of the smaller breweries, like Yona Yona or Aoni from Yahoshuzo. You can get them everywhere. They're not much more expensive than normal beer, and they taste a lot better, so I haven't been drinking these. But if you're out at an izakaya, at a restaurant, yeah, I would totally drink this. I'd have 3 or 4 of these. I could stick with these all day, all afternoon.
Beer number 5, just from the start, this is the most transparent, translucent liquid I think I've dealt with. It smells like my armpits, which actually don't smell. So I'm trying to say there's no smell. I'm a pretty, not flowery, but I'm kind of like fallen leaves, you know. They look nice. Don't really have much of a smell. Yeah, this is a very complex flavor of bad flavors. Yeah, I got hints of dishwater in here. A little bit of your own sweat while jogging kind of mixed in there as well. But you know, at the end, it kind of changed for the better. It's almost like drinking this liquid makes you a little bit more optimistic about things. Go figure. But on a scale of 0 to 1, I'm going to give this one a temporary ban on driving.
Beer number 6. Wow. Yeah, that's really unpleasant. That's shockingly bad. It's cloying and sweet, and yet it has almost like a NutraSweet sort of fake sugar taste all at the same time. Yeah, it's chemically more than anything. If Diet Mountain Dew were a beer, it would taste kind of like this, is what I want to say. Not something I'd voluntarily consume. This doesn't even deserve a scale. This is just not even beer. Nah. Ugh.
Beer number 6. How you doing? So I know there's supposed to be 2 premium brands amongst these, and I don't feel like I've gotten them yet, and if this one gives me the same feeling, I think I'm going to come off as somebody not so much enjoying the Japanese beers. However, some of us drink for the flavor, Some of us drink to have times with friends and family. Some of us drink to bury those memories that still haunt us deeper and deeper. I'm the type that drinks with a shovel, so, it's okay sometimes. I think it's better, but in the back of my mind, I wonder, is it really better? I've always thought Sapporo is my favorite. I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, it's the Sapporo. Sapporo is also nice because it's the one where you can be the most pretentious when you go back to, say, the States or whatever English-speaking country you might hail from. And the person sitting next to you says, I'll have a Sapporo. And then you go, fool, it's pronounced Sapporo. And then you make all bunch of friends. So on a scale of 0 to Sapporo, I'm going to give this a Sapporo.
We've come to the last beer. Beer number 7-ish. This one also tastes a little bit sweet to me, but it's got not such an awful sweetness. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to guess this is the Suntory Premium Waltz. I could be wrong, though. It's sweet, but it's fine. It's pretty nondescript because I'm sure it's like a Pilsner, and Pilsners are nondescript in my opinion. I know I'm going to get attacked by all the Pilsner aficionados of the world, but yeah, I prefer beers with stronger flavors. I'm personally still in love with IPAs, even if I'm 20 years behind the time, according to anyone living in North America. This is fine. This is inoffensive, easy to drink with food. I give it it'll do. It's good. It's fine.
Finally, we have beer number 7. This one does seem a little bit more golden, or the alcohol might be playing tricks with my eyes. These really just all taste the same. I don't know what else to say. There were some highlights there. Some of them highlighted with a better aftertaste. Some of them highlighted maybe by having a little bit more sweetness, for better or for worse. I don't think this is a problem with Japanese beers as much as it is a problem with the idea of just going through the Pilsner gauntlet. So let's just say some things that are clearly lies. Ebisu has actually not been founded yet. It's going to be founded in the year 2046. It'll be a beer company that also happens to accidentally invent time travel, and therefore we have Ebisu beer. But it still hasn't been founded yet, which is why it tends to taste a little bit better than the other ones, or so people think. Also, do you know the ancient Egyptians used to use beer in building the pyramids? And actually it got really hard after a long time and turned into stones. That's why all those people who are like, how did they lug those stones? It was just beer. It just got real hard after a while. On a scale of ancient Egypt to Mesopotamia, I'm going to give this a Hun invasion.
We're back after having all 7 beers, and I guess what I'm taking away from this is that I'm not, well, I knew this before, but I'm not a Pilsner fan particularly. And I'm pretty sure I dissed on the Asahi a little bit too hard, so I know from this is the takeaway is I'm not a fan of Asahi. What did you take away from this?
I took away a decent buzz. I also realized that, yeah, these beers are mostly acceptable, except for the garbage water. One of them was garbage water. I've also realized that Budweiser is well masked with the other Pilsners. But yeah, these beers are mostly acceptable. You get them on tap, I'm sure they're going to taste better. You get them in a bottle, they're probably going to taste better than out of a can, and they're good for the most part. But for the longest time, I think this was the only choice you had before these same corporations started delving into ales and other types of beers as well.
If you like this kind of video, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more of this, we could potentially do versions of this for the upper end of the corporate spectrum. Their attempts at craft beers and ales and things like that. We could also do a Japanese craft beer one. Also delve into Chuhai, which is actually rather good. There's highballs. There's all sorts of other drinks. As you may know from watching other videos on YouTube or if you've been in Japan, there's like just dozens and dozens of types of Japanese liquor that we would be happy to rate for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the trails.
I won't.
I've taken him up Mount Iwate and Akita Komogatake. He'll see me on the trails.
I'll see you in the alleys behind the 7-Eleven.
Good Lord.